Hi, all. Welcome to Art Appreciation 1301. My name is Scott Trent. I'll be the instructor for this course. I'm looking forward to it. This is actually my second time to teach this course online. I started last semester. I've been teaching for about 10 years. I teach at a number of the colleges and schools in the area, and I teach online as well. Right now, I teach art appreciation, design thinking, and I have a welding class over at Dallas County Community College. So I am pretty heavily in design and art field. I'm also a metal sculptor, fine artist, and I do a lot of public consulting as far as creativity in the community and placing art and things like that. So I come to this subject matter with a lot of passion for the arts and a true sympathy for you as far as caring about them or even having any kind of an appreciation for them. I understand that a lot of people, this is not a subject that they feel is important to their career or where they're going or even spend a lot of time thinking about. Now, don't get me wrong. I know I have a couple students every semester that are really talented artists and really enjoy this field. But for the most part, this is an elective. It's for all the different fields, and people are taking it because they don't want to take interpretive dance, and I understand that, and that's fine. So we do a drive-by glance at the arts, and I try to give you insights into what's going on, why art is art, what's the value of it, what's it doing for us, and why you should care. And if I can do that in our 16-week course, then it's all good. So just a few things to let you know about. So the book, there's the textbook, which you can get in the bookstore. It's Preble's Art Forms by Patrick Frank. It's the 11th edition. Honestly, any edition can work. It's just as I reference page numbers, they'll always be referenced for the 11th edition. Also, there's a workbook, a complimentary workbook that I have for this class. You can also get that in the bookstore. The workbook, everything I do comes from the workbook. You'll be submitting most of your stuff through quizzes and tests online. But as far as notes, all my lectures are straight from the workbook. The directions for the assignments, in addition to me posting them, they'll also be in the workbook. So it's a good thing to have, and well, I'd highly recommend it because it complements the course, and I use it throughout the semester. My contact information is in the syllabus, or it should be online, but it's also in the workbook. Any official school business, if you're talking about grades or anything that could be potentially private that we don't want anyone else to see or to get out there, please use my scott.trent@dccd.edu. I teach at 4 different schools, so make sure you tell me which class you're in. Matter of fact, I'm teaching 2 online art appreciation classes, so I can even get confused there. So please make sure and tell me who you are and which class you're in. But for the quickest response, send your correspondence to my personal email, which is also in the workbook and the syllabus, and that's scott@inxlab.com. So if it's just a quick question or you want to check on something, that's fine to use that email. But for all official school business, please make sure you use the school email address. Also in the workbook and in the syllabus, it should have my cell number in there. Feel free, if you need to call me, you're more than welcome to call me. Don't ever call me to ask me what we're doing in class or anything that has to do with you not doing your work. I don't really care about it. It's like we're going in this with the agreement that I'll give you the work, you do the work, I'll give you the grade, we're all good. And if there's some reason that you can't do the work, I really, honestly, am not that interested, because when it gets down to it, what's happening in your outside life really doesn't have anything to do with the course. And I know in your brain it does. You might have a wreck, or I don't know, get the flu or something, went to the doctor. Man, believe me, my heart goes out to you. That sucks. But the problem is, it took me 20 years to get my degree. And I didn't have a degree when I turned 40, so I went back to school. And in the next 10 years, I got my undergraduate, my master's, and my PhD, because once I got back to school, I realized, like, hey, I actually enjoy this. This is fun. This is something that really I'm passionate about, and I didn't know that. For the first 20 years, I was always starting businesses and doing things, and school was just something that I thought I wanted to do. I knew it would help me in some way, not really even sure how, and so it became, do I go make money or do I go take this stupid class? And money and is what we always say is life gets in the way. And I understand that. But that has nothing to do with your course. It has nothing to do with your grade. It just is a factor that you have to deal with that can suck sometimes. And so you don't need to tell me that kind of stuff. I have too many students, and if I cared about what each of you were doing, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning. So but if you have something, you need to text me or call me or whatever. My number's there, and you're more than welcome to do that. So it's a 16-week course. What makes up what I'll be assigning to you is there's art reflections every week, and this is where you will go and find the work of art that I've listed. I've just put the name on purpose because I want you to have to go actually look. Most of them are in the textbook. Some of them are in the workbook, and then a few you might have to find online. So spelling's important. So this is something where it's just a little bit of challenge. You have to do a little bit of work, go find the artwork, and then answer the questions that I have listed in the quizzes, the art reflection quizzes each week. There will also be an art period lecture each week. So each week I'll do a quick drive-by of an art period. And from that, after every 3 art periods, you'll have a quiz. It's just a short quiz about those 3 art periods. Once again, the workbook is very helpful here because my notes, I'm just lecturing from my notes in my workbook, and the answers are in there. So I'd highly recommend it for that reason. I mean, all the answers to this course's tests are in that workbook. So there's 5 of those quizzes. I guess 15 art periods that I'll introduce to you, starting with the Renaissance, going to current day postmodernism. And then each week I'll give you some type of assignment, and I'll introduce those weekly to you. I will give the weekly introductions, assignments Monday morning before noon. So that's it. That's the way it works out for me with my schedule. And so then you have until Sunday at midnight to submit your work. If there's anything where you're commenting on other students' work, I'd like to get those done. It doesn't really work, but ideally I'd like to get, if I'm asking you to comment on other people's work, then you need to get your post in by Wednesday so they have the full week to comment on it. So I'll mention that each week with whatever the assignment. Finally, for this first week, here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to go to the discussion board, and you're going to post something that tells us about yourself. Tell us where you are in your academic career, what you want to do for a career once you get out of school, and just what your background is, why you're here, why you're taking this class. Just a quick, brief introduction of who you are, so we can have an idea of who we're talking to and interacting with. And when I say we, I mean the class as well. So you're really talking to each other. And with that, please comment on 2 other people's posts, 2 other students' posts. And whenever I have you comment on someone else's post, I want it to be at least 150 words. Sounds random, arbitrary. It is. But what it does is it makes it where you don't just say, hey, how you doing? Me too. I like that. Great. Nice job. Loved reading your post, whatever. I would like you to think and expand it out. And that's how the online forum works, that you have to input and interact with each other for it to be fully effective. Otherwise, it's just people putting monologues out there, and that's not a class. So interact with each other. You need to comment on at least 2 posts with at least 150 words each to get credit for this week's. Consider that your assignment. And then the other part of that is please comment on what you think the value of art is to society. at the end of the semester, we'll go back and ask that same question. But I'd like to get an idea now. There's no right or wrong answer. I just want to know what your opinion is, hear you thinking out loud what you think the value of art to society is. So introduce yourself, comment on 2 people, and post what you think the value of art to society is. And that's what we're doing this first week. And if you can get that in, the sooner the better. Ideally by Wednesday. You're not going to get points off if you don't, but ideally so then other people can comment on your posts. Unfortunately, the way it works out, a lot of you might have to be Saturday and Sunday doing your responses and comments to other posts because people won't get out there and get them by Wednesday. But as we get going in the semester and I have assignments like that, I'll be more adamant and be watching that closer. So feel free to ask any questions, send me emails, post if there's, I can't remember if Trent County has this, but if there's questions for the instructor, put those up there because if you have a question, then everyone probably has that question. And it allows me to answer it so everyone gets it. I look forward to the class. Here we go. So see you online.